Hey, here we are, thoughts from the office, Rednecks Pride Outdoors, and ACP Wildlife Control Services. This week alone, I've gotten quite a few calls with coyotes chasing cats. I called the other night, which was really sad because the folks in a big town, in a town in which nobody ever thought anything about it, the coyotes jumped into the yard, and there was two little dogs in the backyard, and four coyotes grabbed the one and killed it, started eating on it, and then carried it off. And the people not only, let us put it this way, it's all caught on camera. And more and more, I'm getting calls about the coyote causing problems with pets, livestock, poultry. And here, probably in another month or so, by the end of March, when the pups are starting to be born and down in the den, we're going to get even more calls about the coyote, because that's when they're the most aggressive. When there's pups down in the den and somebody with a dog, or somebody's getting close to a den with a pet or something like that, and the coyotes become territorial. I've been saying for quite a few years now to the folks here in New Jersey, we better start paying attention, because we have a historical record of what the coyote can be and what it's going to be. We see the coyote in California, where it's coming in and taking pet after pet after pet, causing problem after problem after problem. We've seen the coyote move across the country in every major city. And why I say major city is because if the coyote will adapt and become a problem in a major city like LA, San Francisco, Detroit, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New York, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Houston. Phoenix? Do I need to keep going? Then when we head down to south, we talk about Atlanta, and we talk about Miami, and we talk about Richmond. Okay? The major cities, the cities that there's a lot of people, a lot of concrete, and the coyote is causing problems to where these cities have hired on people. Like Chicago, they hire people on just to do the coyote work. Indiana, Illinois, the same thing. We have a record. We know what the coyote has done from across the country. And yet people here in New Jersey say, oh no, they're not going to be a problem. They're not going to be a problem. And what's actually happening is, I was thinking we had at least 5 or 6 years, or maybe 7, but the last 2 years, the calls are coming in more and more and more. And we're going to have a problem. Last year was a banner year for me, getting complaints and calls with coyotes coming in with killing sheep and goats and chickens and chasing cats, taking dogs. And as I talk to the average person out there, they honestly believe that, I'll just take care of it myself. And I'll say, how you going to do that? You can't fire off a gun. You know how New Jersey is with gun laws. You walk out into a normal town and you discharge your firearm, you're going to be arrested. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, I'll trap it. You ever caught an animal before in your life? No. And you honestly believe that you're going to catch a coyote that's causing damage? And they honestly think, yeah. And I'm not putting them down because you get a lot of new trappers. We got a new trapper training course coming up here in a couple weeks in April. And a lot of these trappers next year will catch coyotes in the cable restraints. But then when I say to them, well, why did you catch that coyote? When I say to most trappers, why did you catch the coyote? They look at me. Well, I put a cable restraint out. Okay, well, how did you catch it in a cable restraint? Well, I hung it in the trail that it was coming down. And how did you know the trail was the trail? Well, I thought it was. And I don't mean to be mean here or rotten or rude or anything like that, but the reality factor is this. Most coyotes are caught here in New Jersey by accident, and I'm as guilty as the next one. You know, you look at a trail and you say, you know what? That looks like a trail. I think I'm going to hang a cable restraint on that thing. And you wait 6 weeks and you finally catch a coyote. Well, you know, you got I'm all, you know, look at me. I'm a hot shot trapper. No, I'm hot shot lucky. Because the coyote just happened to choose the trail that came down. I'm saying all this because when it comes to damage control, when it comes to coyotes and even foxes causing problems, you got to understand some things. You got to understand what is going to happen, why it's happening, and what problems could arise from it. You go in on a typical area where there's a lot of people, you've got a lot of things to look for. You got a lot of things to look out for. You got a lot of things to say, I got to make sure I understand what's going on here. I got to understand where the coyote's coming from. I got to understand where he's going. I got to understand why it's coming in here, when it's coming in here. The 4 W's, what, where, when, and why. Well, what is the coyote? Well, yeah, somewhat. What is a coyote? But what is the coyote? Is it a female that's killing because of needs food for the pups? Is it coyote killing because it needs food for herself because she's nursing the pups? Is it killing to take the kill back to the pups? Is it a male? Was it one time? There's a lot of factors that goes into doing predator control work. I wish I had all the answers. I don't. I wish I could tell you that every job I've ever gone on, I had 100% success. A lot of the coyote jobs get called in suburban, urban areas. They make a kill and they never come back. Why? It was an opportune situation. They was passing by and that little dog was out there and they said, you know what? This is a good opportunity. You get into July and August. A lot of the kills aren't for food. A lot of the kills are to train the pups how to kill. There's a lot to it. Just because I can catch a coyote doesn't mean I'm a wildlife control specialist catching coyotes. lot to think about here. Because I'm getting a lot of calls. And most of the calls, when I talk to them, and I hate to say it this way, but most of the calls, when I talk to them and they find out they're going to have to pay a few bucks because of my liabilities and my whatever, they say, no, the guy down the street says he can catch it. And maybe he can. Maybe he can. Well, mainly here for ACP Wildlife Control Services and Predator Control Services. I think I'm going to be getting a lot of predator calls, both fox and coyotes this year. And I'm going to get a lot of calls where people say, I just leave them alone. They're not hurting anything. Get a lot of outdoorsmen saying that. Oh, they're here, they're not going to hurt anything. They won't do this and they won't do that. Well, people, do some research and find out what they're doing in the major cities across the country. And if they're doing it in the major cities, then they're doing it out in the other areas. You just don't hear about it. I'll see you later. Thoughts from the office. ACP Rednecks Pride. ACP Wildlife Control Services.